what the issue could be troubleshoot. So he had seen that, we saw an operator working, and he saw a straw coming out of the operator's gown, and he saw something start coming through the straw. The operator was bringing in, had a Coke can in his pocket and was bringing in the Coke. So not supposed to be bringing in items like that to the clean room, anything, people do gum, smoking, if they had, this and that, it's just a big thing, and they kind of really understand that. A lot of times, too, even teaching about cleaning, talking about cleaning, some people don't know why they should clean, and that's one of my biggest proponents to a lot of the facilities I work with. I work with a lot of the manufacturing supervisors and directors of manufacturing, and it's really important to teach people why clean and how important their job is and how important it is that they're part of this process. So fundamental training topics should include the aseptic technique. I believe every time you enter a clean room, this is required. CGMP, clean room behavior, microbiology. I work with a customer that worked with a solid dosage facility, and one day, or oral solid dosage facility, and what she was really concerned with was that some of the people didn't have basic microbiology. That's a big thing to understand. Sometimes when you think too much about it, you get, at least I do, I get grossed out because I'm like, oh my gosh, there's so many different microbes all over the place. But that's a big one, because it's kind of having the back of your head have that knowledge. Hygiene, hand washing is a big thing. I don't think, I know it's flu season, and we're seeing that you need to wash your soap and then follow with a hand sanitizer, but it is really important to understand how your hands and the contamination is a big part of it as well. Downing, obviously, you don't want to down before when you're putting it on. You want to have the appropriate downing, the appropriate apparel when entering a clean room. And then patient safety, hazard codes, that's just something to understand when you are making drugs, that they know that any type of hazard or anything that has to potentially affect the drug product. And the SOP. That's another one where we see when we do audit the facility, we'll ask the end user or the technician where the SOPs are. Some of them don't know. And that's sort of a problem. They should know what the SOPs are. They need to get, if the FDA is there monitoring them, then they need to get those SOPs to go over them with them to an auditor, or just to know what the process is and what they require. We see this a lot of times with teams too. So with all of that said, microbial control objectives, environmental control, and personnel practices are also play a huge part in cleaning the disinfection program. So even with all those controls in place, there will still be contaminants entering the room. How do we mitigate risk and impact from those contaminants? How do we regain control? To clean, a lot of facilities will come to us as well. I didn't really go into this in the presentation because I was trying to give a background of contamination control programs, but a lot of facilities will come to us with how we regain control after an event, like, they have a shutdown, or if there's, adverse effects, like if the power goes out, or if there's weather where the power goes out, or there's damage to the facility. We also help with that, and there are ways to do that, and I can talk a little bit more about that as we go on. So an overview of cleaning disinfection, product selection is a big one. Cleaning frequency depends on the type of room you're cleaning. Cleaning practices, application techniques, rotation, and printing is what I'll be talking about. So the different types of products that you can use within a clean room are sanitizer, disinfectant, and sterilant. So the one that you'll probably most see a lot is sanitizer, which is usually the 70% IPA, and that's used on pre-clean surfaces unless tested with a sterile flow. So we test all the disinfectants with serum efficacy to also clean, and they'll give a bacteria reduction of greater than 99.9%. A disinfectant, obviously, are the ones that you see the phenols and the pulmonary ammonia disinfection out in the field, and the proper use results in at least a 4-log reduction of bacteria, target viruses, and target fungi at a 95% confidence level. Usually, a disinfectant will clean and disinfect, so that's the pro to using a disinfectant. I've had some facilities that we use a cleaner and then followed by a disinfectant, which you don't need to do all of that. Usually, disinfectant, depending on how much you're cleaning, you're only going to need 1 or 2. And then sterilant will kill all microorganisms, including spores. So if you've heard of a bacillus outbreak or there's microbial contamination, that's when you would use a sterilant. And they always require free cleaning. I try to look at it kind of as that's something that you would want to, if you were cleaning your home, I would use, like a bleach or hydrogen peroxide to clean that area. I don't usually recommend cleaning with bleach, but some people will use it. And this is just a nice little chart to show the efficacy of different products within the clean room that you would be using, and then the frequency. So sterilant you don't want to use as much. Those are the high power that kill out for today. Disinfectants you will be using, depending upon the room, once a week, once a month, every single day, and they'll be used on floors, walls, equipment. And then sanitizer are for your critical surfaces. And the reason a lot of people use IPA or 70% IPA is because it does not leave a residue and then it dries very quickly. So when you're sterilized or sanitizing your hands, your blood hands, it dries very quickly and you don't have to worry about any contamination due to drug products. The next slide just talks a little bit about, this just shows a lot of the microorganisms that people test in their validation program. So I've actually done a lot of calls for revalidation of disinfectants because the FDA has monitored and has, they want facilities to have every organism that they find in their clean room tested on every surface in their clean room. So this is actually a very large task for facilities to undergo. Due to the fact that the testing is not cheap, if you go to third parties, it also takes a little bit of time, and it's also, a lot of facilities have done revalidation of their disinfectants. So that's where companies like Steris and other facilities or other companies and disinfectants, companies in the area, we have products and we do label testing on them. So what we recommend usually, or what I recommend, is to use in-house organisms to do the disinfection testing. Your organisms within your clean room are going to be different from the facility down the road. And we usually recommend doing a more resistant, a middle of the ground resistant, a less resistant. We're always here to help if you have any questions about what type of organisms to use. So you're always going to want to have a score in there because those are what you want to make sure that you have to show if you have an outbreak. So this slide has a lot of wording on it, so I'll go through it and make it as easy as I can. We talked about the types of sanitizer, the 70% IPA being the biggest one. We see a lot of ethanol being used in Europe. The 2 different types of disinfectants that I see the most use out of are phenols and quaternary ammonia blend disinfectant. So phenols have very good bacterial and virucidal properties on it. They're not as good of a cleaner as a quat is. I mostly see phenols out there. I've seen a lot of facilities going to quaternary ammonia disinfectants that have issues with their cleaning of blood or plasma or their blood recognition facilities, or if they have powders in their areas. A lot of oral solid dose facilities like to use quats. Phenols I see a lot with the aseptic facilities or the biotech, and then some are technically use the quat. So it's just dependent upon where you see what organisms in your facility and look at the label claims for that and what product will work best in your facility. And then we have the type of spore size. So the biggest one I see is hydrogen peroxide, acetic acid. to blend. Sodium methylchloride is a big one as well, which is bleach. I've seen a lot of people also use hydrogen peroxide, which are all great hydrochlorides, but I've also seen facilities that will use all three of these or two of these. So one thing that you want to consider for this is that these are products that can cause corrosion to stainless steel. We've seen, I don't know if you've seen some of the 483s out there recently that talk about these types of products and corrosion at the facility. So when I'm talking about the validation of disinfectant, we've actually, there's 483 out there that the customer or the facility got a warning letter for not testing the effectiveness of the disinfectant on corroded material. So that's another thing you want to look out for as well, is that are these subject compatible with your product? So these are other considerations. So contact time, supporting documentation, availability, the cleaning ability, stability of the product, rotation, substrate, and safety. You can also get a lot of these products in sterile packaging or non-sterile packaging. I have one facility that still sterile filters their products, or still sterile filters their disinfectant, but a lot of people are going towards using a sterile package of the product mixing it with WFI. So these slides are more of a, I think I have about 3 or 4 slides. These are general recommendations on how to clean these types of facilities. And this is a nice chart that our technical services group has put together. I have a technical kit for you if you would like a copy of it. Just let Greg know. I can send you the email that he has put together for general facility recommendations. So just so you know, these are all recommendations. It doesn't mean you have to do them, but these are what we have seen in the industry as sort of the common thing that people have done. So for any specific facilities, you would want to just the services, different services you're going to see, the method. I also have another slide that I did not answer this presentation, which I found the other day. But most people are using mops and wipes to clean certain things, or to clean different items in their clean room. Floors, walls, and ceilings, people will use mops. Some people will even use foamers if they have high to reach areas and they need to get that contact time of that disinfectant or deep cleaner. So this is just for general facilities, like the hallways, where you don't really have any ISO standards, or it's not a classified area. This slide explains for the ISO Class 8, Grade D, or Class 100,000 closed offices, and these are recommendations that basically that we have for these different types of areas. So the cleaning agent will be a disinfectant. The floor, like I said, the floor cycle agent that you choose is based on your EM data. So if you see that different time here that you have more of a floor cycle for a floor breakout, then you'll use the floor cycle agent. Or if you notice that every month you need to hit it with the floor side, then you'll do that. Most people, in the summertime when there's more humidity and there's more, that's how a lot of people will use, well, at least in this area, will use more floor side, or they'll use them after a shutdown. The next slide explains for ISO Class 7, Grade C, or Class 10,000, outside laminar floor, flow hoods, room, and halls. These are just recommendations again. If you want to take a look at that and have any questions at the end, just let me know. But it does cover the floors, the walls, the equipment, and any other surfaces within the area. And then ISO Class 5, Grade A or C, or Class 100 laminar flow hoods, and aseptic filling suite. This is where you want to make sure that you are cleaning daily or cleaning every shift. We usually have some facilities that will, or we do have facilities that will clean every single shift. And that's what you're supposed to do when you have facilities that is Class 100 aseptic filling suite. So the application conditions of a disinfectant, fortified sanitizer is probably the most important thing that you need to keep in mind when applying disinfectant or writing up your SOPs. Concentration is a big thing. I've had customers call me asking questions, what if I add too much disinfectant? Well, that's okay, but it's not necessary. You can, if you add too less, then that would be a problem. Contact time is a really big thing as well. I've had customers still call me and ask questions and say, hey, your fortified didn't work. And you complete that can kill everything. So what I usually ask to is, how long do you let it run the surface? So as we talked before, rooms that are Class 100, that have the air changes so quick, these products will tend to dry. The good thing is that they usually have surfactants in them, which will help with the wetting of the surface, or if they stay wet at a certain time. A lot of times I get questions where if they have any issues, with keeping it wet, you just have to keep reapplying it to make sure that it is wet for that certain time. There is an FDA auditor out there that will watch these processes and will actually use stopwatch to see how long the disinfectant stays on the surface and how long the contact time is, if it matches the SOP. Temperature is also a big thing. So in cold rooms, we work with facilities that have cold rooms that hold different types of products, and temperature is a big thing. That's where you need a longer contact time as well, because it'll dry faster the surface. So we have a couple facilities we've got called where if the floor is really old, then they need to clean more. They need to keep that wet more. And bioburden levels, if you have a high bioburden levels, or if there's different people going within the clean room at certain times, that's something that you need to keep in mind too. Water hardness, a lot of facilities that are cleaning are either using potable water or WFI or DCI water. But usually there is an issue with that with help, or there are ways of getting around that. And techniques for cleaning disinfection, you usually want to clean from the cleanest to the dirtiest area so you're not sending in additional contamination. From top to bottom, most critical to least critical surfaces. We usually say apply the disinfectant to a wiper or spray on the surface, garden variety sprayer, or mop. The reason I like to recommend mops are because you also need to get a mechanical action of getting rid of whatever is on the surface. We usually recommend changing out the use solutions if you are using a 2 to 3 bucket routine every 600 square feet or 56 square meters in ISO 5, Grade A or Grade D, and then every 1,000 square feet in 93 square meters in ISO 6, 7, and 8, so Grade C and D. I usually recommend to grid or blueprint of the room, how you can figure that out. The pull and lift method is the method that you would use if you were using a mop. Overlapping strokes by 20%, and then the figure 8, also called figure S, or directional mopping stroke. Rotation has been a topic that has been around forever when cleaning is disinfectant. There are some facilities that will use 2 disinfectants, followed by sterile and heated. Some people only use 1 disinfectant. That's purely up to you. There's only one study out there that says microbes can become resistant to disinfectant, and that's a lab study. So it actually was not put to real use or into use in a facility. But if you're rotating with 1 disinfectant and 4 times, then there's a rotation, and the FDA will see that if you have it all documented. That's why you chose that. I've been seeing a lot of people moving to 1 disinfectant rather than using 2 disinfectants because I think they just want to have less products in the area and using different types to not confuse people who are cleaning so that they have all of the information that goes through the technicians or whoever is through. So as long as you have a disinfectant and a sterilant, then you're good. Sterilants are chosen as needed or weekly or monthly. We've actually seen facilities use it every day. And then we actually have one facility using it 5 times a day, which is not good. That can cause serious damage to the area, and even if it is compatible with the fluoride, it's not good to use an FDA. It's a little bit that and say you're obviously covering something up. So next slide we'll actually talk about that. So the rationale is based on your EM data. It's monthly, weekly, quarterly. Most of the aseptic facilities will use it weekly. You'll see it more monthly or quarterly for your higher grade rooms like the class 10,000 or 100,000. And then or some you say based on if they see an issue in the room. And it should be written in the SOP. That's why in the chart that I have provided, it says at the bottom in red, it'll say foresight use dependent upon your EM data or what you see in the facility. Because every facility is different. And you may see that you need it at certain times of year, like I said. So cleaning disinfection, there's diets out there. These are just some of the diet documents that you can reference. There's industry articles that are very good. We have industry articles. So if there's anything on this list that you have an interest in, just let me know. My information is on at the end of the presentation, and I can help you get that information. This is rinsing is another topic that is huge that we get called on, or that I get called on. And when I talk about rinsing, it means rinsing residue off of the surface. So chemical or compounds that have multiple sources and that interact negatively with the surfaces. So for example, you'll notice in a facility they have been cleaning with a disinfectant for years and have never rinsed it off. You'll see it, you'll see that it's different color, to color some of the equipment or some of the areas that it's been used on. So rinsing is removing those residues from those surfaces. And so you'll see an appearance of functionality. There's a product risk to it because it can flake off and enter one of your products, and that's not good. And then there could be an interaction or interference with other chemical agents being used. There's a safety issue. One of the guys that I work with actually said one time they had so much residue in a facility that issues got stuck before. So if you do notice that, you don't want that happening. And then the rinse agents that most facilities use are an IPA or water, so WSI in a facility. I have seen that some facilities will use it after every time they clean. They'll wipe down the surfaces with an IPA after they've had that after they've had their contact time with a disinfectant, or they will just do it every quarter, every month. Some facilities even go to using cleaners. To use a cleaner maybe once a quarter or every time they clean. You can use acidic, basic, or neutral, low concentrations to clean the equipment. I've seen people use products that have a lot of protectors in them that have hydrogen peroxide, and those actually also help clean the equipment. So, but the one thing to remember with cleaners is that you do have to rinse those afterwards with water. You can't just get on the equipment. So key to successful validation of a disinfectant is the antimicrobial agent, choosing the proper disinfectant for the job, testing protocol, practical, achievable, and verifiable, like it says, why and how are you using these, sanitation procedures, set up a proper rotation of disinfectants to control all organisms, and then change control, have all these processes organized. One thing that I have noticed is that a lot of facilities will work on, when they have revalidation efforts, or they see another organism within their clean room, based on if it's brand new, or if someone has brought it in, or if it's the time of year that they see this, and that's where they have those controls in place of how much they have. So, to conclude, contamination control is a balancing act. It takes all of these different components to create an effective contamination control program. It's not just the disinfectant, it's not just the cleaner, it's everyone involved, traffic control, facility design, and condition. A lot of facilities that are older, they may have to clean more just because it's an older facility. Traffic control, how items are being brought into the clean room is a big thing. Personnel, obviously, is a big thing. And then cleaning and sanitation program. So I appreciate everyone's time today, and if there are any questions, please let me know.
Thank you, Renee. We have had some questions submitted, so we'll take these questions that have been submitted. And let's put you back in charge here and let you go through each question of the 5 questions that we have submitted, if you don't mind, and answer the questions for our audience today.
What is the process for validating the various disinfectants? So what you would do is, the EPA is actually coming out with a new technical report soon for this, and what they are recommending, I don't really know all the details, but there will be a lot of information in that technical report. It's been going on for about 7 years now. But the process is first you would work, some companies will work with an outside lab, testing lab, and then sometimes facilities will do the testing in-house. So you'll choose microorganisms that you find in your facility, and then some ACDC books, and then you'll be testing on the disinfectants at different concentrations. I can get you more information on this. I can get you to one of our technical specialists that have a lot of information on this. So you'll test the efficacy of the disinfectant through lab testing, and then you'll also do it in your clean room as well. I hope that helps. To get more details, I'm going to have to get you in touch with one of our technical specialists on that, so they'll have more information for you on that one.
Renee, you're welcome to let me know if the chat box all that information for us.
Oh yeah, that would be great. Yeah. Because there's only, I guess there's more to that question. I guess I would want to ask more questions. What is the process of validating the various disinfectants? Basically, you do lab testing and then you try it in your facility, and you see which one is more effective. I guess to make it a simple answer. But there's a lot that goes into it. The second question is, are there differences in clean room validation for foreign companies? There are